I'm going to shoot 2 of your guys. You stab 2 of my guys, I'm going to stab 3 of your guys.
You can get killed for any number of reasons.
It was almost like a war.
But for gangsters willing to risk a bullet, Prohibition-era Chicago was a bootlegger's paradise.
One of the biggest industries in America had just been declared illegal. It didn't take a genius to figure out that you could make a fortune.
Especially for one man who rose to rule a criminal empire.
Al Capone is the prototypical celebrity gangster. He's bigger than Chicago.
Around the world, people knew who he was. You tell somebody you're from Chicago, and what do you get? Oh, Chicago, da-da-da-da-da.
To some, Capone's a man of the people.
He was like Robin Hood, right? Everybody loved him, so nobody would rat him out.
To others, he's a cold-blooded mobster.
Al Capone was public enemy #1.
He made himself a target.
And his legacy changed organized crime forever.
It was the quintessential story of good versus evil, G-men versus gangsters. But no one is above the law, not even Al Capone.
Al Capone's bloody business, next on Chicago Stories.
Lead support for Chicago Stories is provided by the Nagani Foundation. Major support is provided by Gwen Cohen and the Tawani Foundation. Funding for Chicago Stories, Al Capone's Bloody Business, is provided by Clifford Law Offices and Mr. and Mrs. Robert Shaw.
Chicago was the bloody epicenter of gang warfare in America in the 1920s. Deadly disputes over money, territory, and retribution fueled the violence, especially between Chicago's biggest gangs, the Northsiders, led by Bugs Moran, and Al Capone's Southsiders.
Different people line up on different sides there. So it's virtually a citywide gang war in terms of everybody's either wearing blue or gray.
The bitter rivalry culminated in the St. Valentine's Day Massacre on February 14, 1929. 7 men associated with Bugs Moran's crew lined up and gunned down, execution style, in a Lincoln Park garage.
The crime really shocks America. And not only that, the newspaper photos are gruesome.
Assassins dressed as police officers released a hail of bullets. The reported target, Bugs Moran, missed the hit by minutes. The grisly murders made headlines around the world. Al Capone was never charged.
He wasn't in Chicago, he wasn't in the garage, and he hired outsiders to do it. They weren't even his guys directly.
But the killing cemented his status as Chicago's undisputed mob kingpin.
The mythological image is that he's this cigar-chomping, Tommy gun-toting madman who just knocks off anybody who gets in his way. He's Scarface. He's the supervillain.
Almost 80 years after his death, Capone remains the country's most notorious gangster.
If this man is going to all of these pains to make himself the first celebrity gangster and celebrated and a big shot, it'll be this wonderful deodorant for all of the felonious and nefarious activity that he does.
Ask anyone around the country today, perhaps even around the world, to name somebody associated with Chicago. There's a good chance that person might say Michael Jordan or Barack Obama. But there's an equally good chance that that person might, even to this day in the 21st century, say Al Capone. And that gives you a sense of how much that one individual has become associated with this city, for better or for worse.
Alphonse Gabriel Capone was born in Brooklyn, New York, January 17, 1899, to Italian immigrants Gabriel and Teresa.
My grandfather had been raised as a Catholic, very traditional, Italian Catholic upbringing. And he was very hungry for his parents' approval and to please them.
His family was a solid family, 2 parents, hardworking, trying to get by with 9 kids on a barber's salary. And like most immigrant families, as soon as the kids could help raise some money, they sent the kids out to do that.
Papa was the 4th oldest, and his mother said to him, "I need help, and you're the only one I can count on." And so from the time he was about 10 years old, that responsibility was something that he took very seriously.
Capone left school in 6th grade, fell in with local street gangs, and picked up odd jobs to support the family.
Capone happened into some jobs, working at a box factory, working eventually at a place called the Harvard Inn, a saloon on Coney Island that was actually a really rough place. He starts there as a dishwasher, but this is a key moment in his life because he meets some people there who are serious players in the underworld, serious criminal figures.
People like his boss, Francesco Ioli, an Italian gangland heavy, better known as Frankie Yale.
He's the one who decides to name this saloon the Harvard Inn because his name is Yale, and he thinks that's funny, and it sounds like an Ivy League kind of an operation, which it definitely is not.
At the Harvard Inn, the beefy teenager from Brooklyn graduated to a whole new world of vice and crime.
But by that time, he was physically imposing, he was tough, he was not afraid to fight, and so he earned his keep.
Capone tended bar and met a regular named Johnny Torrio. 17 years his senior, Torrio was already a seasoned gangster who worked closely with Yale.
And then begins to find himself in a position where he's, doing some more dangerous work for guys like Torrio and Yale.
Capone was straddling 2 worlds. By day, he was an all-American teenager working a dull job in a box factory. By night, a criminal apprentice. In the spring of 1918, he fell head over heels for May Coughlin, a devoutly Catholic Irish girl.
He met my grandmother when he was only 18. They worked together at a box factory in Brooklyn, and I think it was kind of love at first sight.
Capone definitely could have gone either way. He's still an American immigrant's kid who loves America, who loves the sports, loves to run in the streets with his friends. If the box factory where he worked had offered him a promotion, had offered him a better salary, maybe he stays there. There's nothing to suggest that he was a psychopath, that he was maniacal, that he had to be involved in criminal activity. Nothing like that.
But by that summer, May was pregnant, and money was tight.
Suddenly, making money becomes a lot more important. He's got a family to provide for now. He doesn't have a great education. He's gonna have to do what he has to do to get by.
Capone became a father on December 4th, 1918, at age 19. Weeks later, he married May in her family's church. But their only child, Albert, nicknamed Sonny, was born 2 months premature, reportedly with congenital syphilis, an STD Capone unknowingly passed to May.
Capone at 18, 19 is a wild man. He's impulsive, he's taking crazy chances, he's sleeping with women, he's sleeping with prostitutes, so he's getting into trouble.
And plenty of it. Just 4 days after Sonny's birth, Capone hit on the wrong girl at the Harvard Inn.
And the girl's brother comes after Capone, slashes him with a knife 3 times across the left side of his face. And they were visible forever, and Capone became known as Scarface, a nickname that he, of course, despised.
Working the bar as muscle for his boss, Frankie Yale, Capone's bravado grew along with his criminal resume. By then, Yale's buddy Johnny Torrio was working in Chicago as the underboss for his uncle, Vincenzo Colosimo, better known as Big Jim.
He was the first of that type of gangster, but what Colosimo really was, everybody thinks gangster, and he was more of a pimp.
Johnny Torrio recognized talent and saw it in Al Capone. He offered him a job in Chicago. The timing couldn't have been better.
He was wanted for questioning in a murder. We don't know for sure whether he was guilty or not, but there's plenty of suggestion that he might have been. So he's living on the edge.
He was only 20 when he left Brooklyn and went to Chicago and then started sending more money back to the family in Brooklyn until ultimately he could afford to bring my grandmother and my father out.
Capone's father, Gabriel, died 1 year later, leaving Al as the breadwinner for his whole family, and Mays.
He's suddenly thrust into adulthood, literally scarred by this period in his life. So all of a sudden, childhood is over, and manhood has begun in the most violent way.
Capone's surrogate fathers in the mob would step in and shape his future.
Two big figures who'll play a significant role in his life are Big Jim Colosimo and Johnny Torrio. Both older men, both people who figured out how to make money illegally.
In Chicago, 20-year-old Capone embraced his new bosses, Big Jim and Torrio. Under their tutelage, Al cut his teeth working for Colosimo in the city's seediest vice district.
Big Jim Colosimo gets involved in prostitution in 1902 on the near south side in what was called the Levee District. And from there, he branches out bigger into prostitution, gambling, some labor racketeering.
Colosimo's wife, Victoria, is a madam. Victoria and Jim build an empire where they have hundreds of brothels that they at least have one thumb in. He could have just been happy at being the husband of a madam and running her business, but he has bigger ideas and bigger dreams.
Colosimo was already making millions from his brothels, but he also wanted political clout. The city's biggest pimp capitalized on a partnership with two of Chicago's most corrupt aldermen, John Bathhouse Coughlin and Michael Hinky Dink Kenna, who ran the red light levee district of the South Loop.
The best investment you could make as a criminal was to buy police, politicians, and judges, and they were cheap in Chicago.
Coughlin and Kenna were willing to be bought. In exchange, they named Colosimo their first ward precinct captain, which provided a veneer of legitimacy, plus protected status from police raids on his brothels.
Colosimo was probably the most important underworld figure in Chicago before Capone and Torrio took over.
But police didn't protect him from violent criminals. Colosimo's brothels and rackets reportedly raked in $50,000 a month at their height, more than $750,000 in today's dollars, making the barrel-chested vice lord a perfect target for a group of deadly Italian extortionists known as blackhanders.
You'd get this letter, unsigned, except maybe there's a black handprint on the bottom saying, if you don't give us $1,000, I know where a bomb put in one corner of your building might do a lot of damage.
That's when he brought Torrio in. He was a thinker. He was a businessman. They killed the people who were trying to extort Colosimo.
The perfect name for Johnny Torrio was the Fox. He was cagey. He was very, very, very meticulous.
With his extortionists dead and Torrio's protection, Big Jim Colosimo lived it up.
Big Jim Colosimo favored white linen suits and suspenders studded with diamonds.
He was called Diamond Jim because not only did he always have a pocket full of diamonds, he'd take them out and play with them. If you were a big shot in Chicago and you wanted Italian food, you went to Colosimo's American Cafe on Wabash. All the opera singers, all the baseball players, all the prize fighters went there.
As a measure of gratitude, Colosimo let Torrio run his own gambling joint in brothel, the Four Deuces on the near south side, and Torrio assigned Capone to work the door.
That might have been his job for a while until he found something better, but Prohibition offered something a lot better.
Prohibition took effect on January 16, 1920, banning the manufacture, sale, or transportation of alcohol. Intended to promote moral and social reform, The law instead provided gangsters with their greatest opportunity yet.
By the time it's enacted, the public sentiment has changed. The war is over,